I'm going to call this meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order. It looks like we have no minutes to approve.
We have to do roll call.
Oh, that would be good. Go ahead and do a roll call, Ms. Clerk.
Thank you. Ms. Wu? Here. Mr. Evans?
Here.
Ms. Hersey? Ms. Colasetti?
Here.
Ms. Bishop? Ms. Wilkin?
Here.
Mr. Quisenberry?
Here.
Mayor Marlin?
Here.
All right, so we don't have any minutes to approve for this meeting. Are there any additions to the agenda? Seeing none, I would ask if there's any presentations or public input. All right. Any additional staff reporting?
No, sir.
Who are the only staff that are left? All right, so first thing up is new business, and the only thing up is ordinance number 2024-01-001, an ordinance amending Urbana City Code, Chapter 3, Section 3-43, decreasing the number of Class R and T to liquor licenses for Les Gourmet Cuisine, LLC, doing business as Les Gourmet Cuisine by Christelle at 401 North Broadway Avenue, Urbana.
This is kind of awkwardly worded, but basically here's the deal. The Class R&T-2 liquor licenses, which allows an establishment to sell beer or wine, have expired on December 31st for both Sip Yard and Broadway Food Hall. They've chosen not to renew their liquor license. However, one of the businesses within Broadway Food Hall is Les Gourmet Cuisine, LLC, and they have applied for a Class R and T2 beer and wine license. So the net impact, we lost 2 R&T-2 licenses, gained 1. Our final count for R&T -2 licenses will be 10 instead of 11.
Grace, go ahead.
Thank you. I had a question for mayors, our liquor commissioner. If, a lot of people have asked me what's the deal with the Sip Yard, just because a lot of people, I think, liked it and seeing it close now. I know you don't have all the ins and outs. You're not the operator, the liquor commissioner, but I didn't know if you had anything else to share with the public. It sounds like their license is expired now, right? And you haven't heard of
They
renewing?
chose not to renew their license for the second half of the year. So I can't provide, I have no other information on what the owner intends to do with the space.
Thank you.
Wish I did.
Any other questions? Can we have a motion? Mary Alice.
I will move approval of ordinance number 2024-01-001, ordinance amending Urbana City Code, Chapter 3, Section 3-43, decreasing the number of Class R and T2 liquor licenses for Les Gourmet Cuisine, LLC, Les Gourmet Cuisine by Christelle at 401 North Broadway Avenue, Urbana, Illinois, to City Council with a recommendation for approval.
Second.
Thank you, Chris, for the second. It's been moved and approved. Any discussion? Yes.
I would just
Mayor
add,
Marlin.
I always like an opportunity to educate folks, especially the public who may not be familiar with how our liquor licenses operate. Unlike many towns that have a cap on certain types of licenses or number of licenses, we don't. So every time, and the council years ago decided to do it this way so that every liquor license comes before the city council for consideration. And so every time we approve one, you add to it, or if business decides not to renew, it decreases. But we don't have a certain allocation of different types of licenses.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion? So I'm going to try something crazy here. I talked to the clerk about this. This is an ordinance, which if we were at city council would require a roll call, right? But because this is not final action and we're moving it to city council for final action, I think we could pass it in this committee as a voice vote. Is there any reason why we couldn't do that, Clark?
It's not final action, so you're not adopting it. You were just moving it to the council meeting. So I procedurally, Dave is nodding yes, feel that that is appropriate as it's not final.
Does anybody have a concern with that? Right, does that make sense? Yes, Grace?
Yeah, I agree. I've read that in the procedures in the past and have had my own interpretation in that in committee of the whole, it's not final, so we could do voice vote. So I have no problem with that and appreciate verification from the clerk and attorney and others.
All right. Are we ready to vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. That motion passes. Now we're to council input and communications. Any input or communications? Mary Alice, would you take the chair?
Sure, I will take the chair, and the chair recognizes James.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to mention, I had an opportunity to attend the county board meeting just before Christmas for other reasons, but I learned at that county board meeting, we had a discussion before about covenants and restricted covenants and concern about that. The city clerk, or the county clerk, has been systematically reviewing all of the properties in the county, and they have discovered 19 areas that have restrictive covenants in it. They're not enforceable, they're illegal by state law, but the clerk is going through a process to contact those areas and ask for a majority of owners in those I don't know what they are, whether they're neighborhoods or tracts, what have you. If they can get a majority of the property owners to respond, they can put an amendment so that there's actually something in everybody's property documentation that says it has been removed, that covenant has been taken out. And I thought, since we talked about that here, I thought everybody would be interested in that. At the time, he didn't have a list of where those properties were, but he has indicated to me, Clerk Ammons has indicated that there are at least 2 areas in the city of Urbana, and I said to him that if there needed to be help with communicating with those property owners about his process, that I think the city would be interested, or at least I would be interested in helping with it if it was in my ward. So I know Grace brought that up at one of our previous conversations with, I can't remember exactly where it was. It was subdividing Stone Creek. And so that is in process, and it's because our clerk has been systematically working on that, and we should have more information about it before too long.
All right, I'm going to relinquish the chair back to James.
All right, thank you. Any other input? Yes.
Quick
Mary Mark.
announcement. A few weeks ago, council approved the guidelines for redistricting for city council wards. Wanted to let you know we're putting the finishing touches on the map, and we also have created the map that you requested showing the census tract and census blocks that will be counted in the special census, and they will be, and in each of those blocks will have an estimate of the additional votes we hope to recapture, or population that we hope to recapture, all of which should help inform drawing wards, especially those close to campus. So I expect that will be up on the website hopefully by the end of this week, and we'll also have a public release related to that as well.
Thank you. Chris?
Oh, it's just comments, not questions. But Diane, I may be getting ahead of things a little bit, but I'm curious how the voters will be notified that the wards have changed and whether they're going to get changed to a new ward.
You are getting ahead of things, I think, but the county clerk will have a lot to do with that as well. But we'll have new maps published, yeah. So this map will be in effect for the municipal election a year from this spring.
All right. Seeing nothing else and all business being accomplished, we are adjourned.